Hey everyone, this is Latrice
Dallas.
and welcome to another episode of On
County.
County. Today, Dallas is going to start what the episode, what we'll be talking about. We know that it's been a while. You see, we twinning with our white sweatshirts on for purity. But he's going to start off what we're going to be talking about tonight. Sorry for the hiatus. You know, we both working folks. Between us both, we got like 3, 4 jobs all combined together. So sorry for the delay, but it's worth the wait. This episode is going to be, like I was telling him, somebody needs to hear this one tonight. So you want to go ahead and start?
Today's episode is on the topic of depression and stress factors, just in general. Just in a general sense, in the Black community, talking about depression and a lot of mental health issues is kind of, not necessarily that something that we don't talk about, but it's not common. It's not something that is easy to bring up, especially in the case of you don't know how that person feeling if they tell you mentally how they feel because you're not in their shoes or in their body to fully understand what they're doing. So just wanted to give some backgrounds about what things that we be going through. It's not necessarily a facade or an act that we put on. It's how we are, but we also have our own share of problems. A lot of times that we come from where we was just in a different living situation and we worked our way out of it. And it was probably a challenging time for us, but together, like I always tell her all the time, we'll get through it. I necessarily not in tune with my emotions, so a lot of things may not necessarily affect me as it may look to other people. And it be times that I do a lot of things that may be considered insensitive or not considerate because I don't have that, in tune with my emotions. And when somebody tells me a problem or a situation that they go through, I may see it as something small or something that's, easily able to get through, but I'm putting myself in their shoes as of what I was do. And that's a main thing where you make somebody uncomfortable when they talking about what's going on in their everyday life. If you don't try to see it from their, aspect, a lot of times you may be like, oh, that's, something little, or oh, why you even stressed about that? But you're putting yourself as if it was you in that situation, not thinking it from their aspect. What we have to realize is everybody handles stress differently. And so you can't automatically think just because I would handle something like that that's your person should handle something like that. You have to be an active listener if somebody comes to you talking about depression or a stress factors. Let them vent to you, let them get it off their chest. Sometimes they're not looking for you to give an answer. They're just looking for you to be someone just an ear to open up to, just to get it fresh breath after they tell you what's going on. It could be just a relief factor. Maybe they're just holding on to it and just want to let go of it. They're not looking necessarily for you to tell them how they should move or tell them where they did wrong or even assault them by saying, why are you even stressed? You have to look at it as if you really care for that person, you will try your best or even go above and beyond to make sure they're mentally healthy. We do a lot of times, we go and make sure people are physically healthy. We try to get, healthy food and vitamins and stuff, but we don't also need to look at the mental aspect. It's a lot of the people that, you might be like, oh, they always happy, but you don't know what they're going through behind closed doors. The happiest people can, majority of times, are going through stuff, but they're putting on an act or putting on a mask because they don't want you to know what's going on. And it's not always necessarily a good thing. It is very strong and strong will of somebody. Like my mother always says, though, you always have to check on, the strong people. Like I said, I handle stress differently, but it's been a lot of factors and things that happened to me in my life that, not necessarily had me depressed, but, I had to went through stuff trying to figure out stuff. A lot of times I've been up late at night just thinking about stuff. And with a lot more time that you have, the more you think about stuff, and you can lead to you overthinking and second guessing what you're going through in your life. But you just have to try your best to push forward. Make sure you can open up to somebody, even if it's a therapy or a therapist. It's not bad to say that you need to go to therapy. It's not nothing to be feeling like you crazy or anything along those lines. It's fair to say that you need to go to therapy and see a therapist, somebody that can talk to you, somebody that's not necessarily, in your shoes or, related to you, because it could be a biased answer that could be given back to you if somebody you giving your thoughts and saying how you going through stuff. A therapist is very unbiased. She doesn't know you. He or she doesn't know you. They don't know what's going through your everyday life. So they are learning about you just as much as you're telling them about yourself. And it could be very helpful just to talk to a therapist to get that off your chest instead of talking to somebody around you, because at the end of the day, yes, your family, your friends, whoever in your circle, they're going to look for your best benefit, but they also may not know how to respond to what you're going through. Because like I said, they may put themselves in your shoes. It's just a typical human thing to do. When you hear somebody telling about their problem, you think about what you would do in that aspect. You don't think about what they're going through to understand like what they should do. You may see it as small. You may not even see it as even a big problem. Like, why they even stressed about that? But try to step back and really just digest what they're telling you. Look at it from a whole aspect. Look at every factor, what's going on, how that's affecting you. A lot of times when my mother was telling me about certain things, I was also very inconsiderate and insensitive to what she was going on, because I have seen her get through things, and also was putting myself in her shoes instead of trying to look at it from her aspect. And I apologize to her for that, because that's not fair to her, especially somebody that I love and care about, to even almost look at their problem as is merely nothing. So it takes a lot of maturity to, be in that aspect and be able to fully understand somebody. You have to want to be better. You have to listen to what they're saying first before saying words and thinking of a correct response. Maybe, like I said, they just want to talk to you. Maybe they don't even want a response. Maybe they just want you to sit there and listen and just let them get it off their chest. You have to accept that. As much as we want to help people, we also can be not helpful. As much as we want to see somebody progress and be there and help give them a push, we also could be helping them digress and pulling them back if we just don't try to look at it from their aspect. So, we're not trying to be perfect people. This is us. We're not saying that, it's all good over here. It's cheerful. We go through our stress factors and our issues on the everyday life, just like a lot of y'all that's watching and every other everyday person. Nobody is not going through no problems. Don't let nobody tell you that they don't have problems or stress. Even if it's just something so small, everybody deals with it. If you don't deal with stress or problems, you're not human, because it's a part of life. You're never not going to have a problem or a stress factor. And it might not be you, but it could be somebody that you care about in your circle that deals with that. So if that's in your circle and in your friends and family, you're concerned with what's going on with them and their health and their well-being. So you take on a little bit of their problems too. It may not be 100%, but you take on just a small amount of it because you care about them. So you're dealing with secondhand problems or secondhand issues, and it's just trying to figure out what's the best response to this. Depression is a very serious matter. It's not something small. Mental health is just even maybe more important than physical health, really. Because if you mentally not there, it don't matter about your physical. Your mind controls everything. You have to have your mind to move your body to even do daily functions. So without your mind, you wouldn't even be able to have anything physical. So, it's just a very hard topic to open up to people about. It's hard to even explain it because you really don't know how to explain it to somebody because you're dealing with it. And you can't even put them in your shoes or let them be in your everyday life, in your mind, because it's something so hard to explain, to tell somebody what's mentally going on wrong with you. And sometimes you can't even diagnose it. It's really something that you really just have to try to figure out step by step. And a lot of times I think people try to, rush past it or try to, get past it. Take your time with it. Mental health is something that should be taken very slowly. You don't want to rush, because just because you think it might be good what's going on, you might not be mentally ready to continue. You might need a break, or you might need to just relax your mind, or you might need to fall back on a lot of things that you're doing. You might need to just focus on yourself instead of trying to do all other factors and just take things day by day and step by step. If you try to rush the process, you're going to end up moving backwards rather than moving forwards. So just be patient, make sure you got your support. Voice your opinion. If you feel like that your support is not helping you, it's not doing what you feel like they should be doing, make them aware of that, because everybody doesn't necessarily know how to respond to certain factors that's going on with you. Just make them aware that they're trying their best. They care, they love you. They just need to be aware of what's going on. And if you need therapy, by all means, go do therapy. Don't be concerned with how somebody else would judge you. Because at the end of the day, people are going to judge you whether you're winning, people are going to judge you whether you're losing. It doesn't matter at the end of the day. Do what's best for you. You should be concerned with how you want to do your everyday life, because they're not living for you. You're living for yourself at the end of the day. So if you need to go to therapy and go see a therapist just to talk, do that. Look up a couple of places. Talk to your doctor. Talk to even somebody that you know that had their therapy. Get some of that information to take them steps forward. Don't put it to the side. It's a very serious matter, and it's causing a lot of people to take their own lives because, they just at wit's end. You don't know what's somebody's breaking point at the end of the day. Everybody has a breaking point, and we don't know what that person, is going through. So take time to see what's going on. And just on the second hand of it, make sure you check on everybody. We live a busy life. A lot of times we may, not talk to certain people. If they in your circle, if you care for them, if you love them, just shoot a text, pull up on them, slide on them, whatever you may do, and just check on them. It could be as simple, I hope you're doing well, hope everything's going well with you, just was checking on you. Check on everybody, because you never know what's going on. That one text message could have saved that person from taking their own life. You never know. I'd rather you do that and send something out than to be too late and now you can't even send that message no more. And now you left saying, well, I was just about to send them a message. You never know. It's best to be cautious than not to be cautious at all. It's nothing wrong with checking on somebody. You know what I'm saying? You never know what's really going on with somebody. So, that's all I have to say. And I'll pass it to my mother.
Please tell your mom she did a good job raising you.
Thank you.
Very, very well said. I love being able to sit and have a different dynamic with my adult son, just to hear his aspect of it and just his overview. So a lot of things that Dallas said is very, very true. He has been asking me for probably a couple weeks to do this episode, and as I shared with you guys, I actually work multiple jobs. So I'm all like, yeah, Dallas, okay, we're gonna do it. So he asked me yesterday, we were supposed to do it, and I just said, busy and just going through some stuff. And then today I told him that I wasn't going to do it, and something was just in my spirit like, you need to have this conversation because somebody out there need to hear what you're going through that might help them. So not to make it lengthy and long, but I wanted to share with everyone, like we were talking about the depression. I'm there. There has been times I'm actually going through a very, very dark time right now, to where every day it is a challenge for me to stay on this earth. I've been dealing with depression very, very long, and it has progressively got worse. I would probably say over the last maybe 7 months. There has been times that I have contemplated not being here, not going forward. Like I just have reached my limit. Like Dallas said, we don't know what people are going through. With me, I'm usually not necessarily what you would consider a class clown, but I'm very clever and witty with stuff. People, if you guys know me or listen to this, I'm always, hey, happy Monday, happy this, happy that, making constant jokes, doing that. And it's a mask because I'm really hurting inside. And so every day that I wake up in my life, it's a struggle to make it to the end of the day. I'm basically, even as I sit here in autopilot, I do the same thing every day so I can function and not even be fully involved in my own life. In my own life. So I know I've been doing the same job for almost 3 years. I have a secondary job that I've been doing for a couple months. So when you get accustomed to something, you just work with that. It's just like being on a soap opera. You become the actor or actress that you need to be. And then after it's over, you're back to who you are. So there has been times that I probably wouldn't even be, if I pushed just a little bit further, maybe not even be sitting here talking to you. Some of the things that have kept me kind of going, and that's why I said depression is a disease. Other diseases, and I'm not taking away from anyone that have had cancer or diabetes or different things that are out there, but those are something that you can identify and know, okay, well, I need to work towards this. Depression, and we know if you guys listen to the news, there, or people who are taking their own life, just like, wow, I just spoke with them the other day. We're living in a very different type of climate right now, on top of with the pandemic and job loss. That's an extra stressor that you have. Anxiety levels, when you fall into a depression, it is hard to get out. It's almost like being in a hole. And I have to remind myself at times it's okay to be happy. Sometimes I wake up and I'm happy. I'm like, what are you happy about? And I slip into that. It is a slippery slope every single day. I will probably say for the last 7 months of my life, I have to remind myself that somebody out there needs me to stay on this earth. There's a lot of times that I express this to Dallas, and like he says, I'm not supposed to. Sometimes you can be too much for someone. You're telling them, you're basically, just telling them everything how you're feeling, everything how you're doing. And unless they're in your situation or in your space, in your body, in your mind, in your soul, they can't know. So I'm a big believer in checking on people, checking on the strong people. I'm the strong person in my job. I'm the strong person in my, my secondary job. I'm pouring into others. But lately, I don't have anything to pour into me. And I think a lot of times people think, oh, that's just Latrice. She's not doing anything. We tend to forget. We move on with their lives. And you don't know what that person, when, like Dallas said, that text like, hey, I'm checking on you. You good? Because my response when somebody said, hey, Latrice, how you doing? Happy Monday, happy Sunday. I'm great, because I'm a performer. I'm an actress. I go in there and I do what I have to do. It's not good. It's not healthy. It is to a point, like I shared with you, and I know somebody else is out there feeling the same way, that you wake up and you start thinking about, at this point in my life, I should be at a different level. At this point in my life, maybe I should be in a different relationship. At this point in my life, I should be at a different job. At this point in my life, my relationships with my people and my family, my church should be differently. That stuff is taxing on your soul. Depression will destroy people that destroy families. Some of the reason why I'm still here, and I've shared this before, I'm one of those people that don't like to take medication. I'm one of those people that like to keep going. Hey, I got to be working. I got to be doing something. I'm hustling. I've been hustling so long all my life. If you look up hustle in the dictionary, that's my 5 by 10, 8 by 10, whatever the size is, 5 by 7 rather, because all I know how to do is work. All I know how to do is be this, but I'm not being the best version of Latrice. I have to be able to reach out there. So I have made a commitment to myself today that I am going to continue. I was in therapy. I stopped. You know why? Because I got a second job. I got to hustle with that. I got to make money. I got to keep doing what I have to do. I ain't got no time with that. I went to the doctor. I've been on medication. I am on medication, but I'm still fighting to stay in my life. Every day it's a struggle. Before I sit down and have this conversation, Depression is like a cloud that you carry over you every single day. There has been times that I sit up here and I cry, that I'm worried, that I'm at my wit's end. But then I think about, and I'm very serious about there has been at least 2 or 3 times that I contemplated suicide. But exactly when I try to look up how to do it, whatever, on the 2 times that I've tried, Dallas has either texted me out of the blue to remind me that I have a commitment. See, God gives us our children. Our children are on loan to us. They're not ours. God has said, Latrice, listen, this is what I need you to do until these children get back to me. You need to be a parent. I have to think about how is he going to be affected with this. Anybody out there that know us, we are super close. He get on my nerves, I get on his nerves. Well, he get on my nerves more than I get on his nerves. But I have been the parent for Dallas since his father passed away when he was 8 months. He wasn't even a year. So I have a commitment that I have to fulfill. And so that keeps me like, Latrice, I'm big on commitment. When you give somebody your word, you have to honor it. But after that, I'm still suffering inside. Who checks on me? Who's there? Who's there to even recognize my friend is not doing okay? My mother's not doing okay. Somebody needs to do, because we go on and we do what we have to do. And like Dallas said, that one text can make a difference. I'm literally have said since we have moved over to this place, there has been 2 times since we have moved over here that in my thoughts, I'm thinking, just go in there, Latrice, go ahead and take any aspirins and whatever that you have and just go and sleep away. You won't even have to worry about it. But how would that be if Dallas walked in and I'm passed away? It's no end. It's no chapter to that. So what is happening with me is that something inside of me from years, all the years of hustling, all the years of being strong, is keeping me here. And I thank God that whatever I got inside is keeping me where I need to be. I've had to get up that night when I thought about it. I am dead serious. Dallas texted me out of the blue and it was like, good night, Mom, I love you. And it was like, click. You got a commitment that you still have to honor. You still have to honor this commitment. You have to see this through. You got to push through. Because I'm looking at it like, I can come through this. Will I ever be the same version of myself again? No. It's going to be years and it's going to take a constant. It's almost like any other disease that you have. You have to keep, taking your medicine, doing your things, doing your thoughts. So I'm just saying to whoever's out there, please know that you are not alone. Please know that it is a hard road ahead. This is nothing to play with. Mental illness, along with your physical being and your soul, it captures every being. It gets into your DNA. And if you're not built for certain things, you want to say, that's it. I always say, it feels like somebody is tap dancing on my inner being, on my last nerve. And then if you have a stressful job that's on top of that, sometimes you feel like you are in an enclosed space that you cannot get out of. So if there's anybody out there that is thinking about harming themselves, thinking about, suicide, think about the people that you leave behind. Think about your commitment to them. There's no answers. It's final. If I would have moved forward and taken all of those pills, I could have taken a medley of anything. It would have been easy peasy. I would have been gone, or however the situation is. But I think about, and you think about, honoring your commitment. Who are you living behind? Because even though we have people in our life that might be doing us a disservice, or people in our life that say they don't like us, or whatever they did, you did something to them long time ago. We got all issues in families. We got friendships that, they feel like you did me wrong, you did them wrong, all that other stuff. It doesn't. Think about that one person. It takes one person in your life that you owe that to be here, to allow them to help you. Get some help. My steps, continue on my medication. Stop taking it. Stop not being there to not take my medication because I have to work or I have to do this. I will continue with my therapy sessions, which I stopped because it was interfering with my second job. I had to go to work. I want to be the best version of Latrice, but I cannot show up last in my own life. You cannot show up last in your own life. Somebody there loves you. It don't matter if it's one person. They want you to be here, to be able to celebrate with them, to be able to see the things that are there. It is a rough and long journey. Sometimes you have good days, sometimes you have not so good days. Today was a very bad day for me, but I showed up because I have to honor my commitment. I had to do this episode because what if something happens? I have to be able to leave a legacy. I have to be able to leave something that somebody will remember me by or say. And I'm not saying that everything is going to be resolved by, me continue to take the medication and therapy. It is a daily work and a daily walk. It really is. But I want to let you know, whoever is out there who's been thinking about it, who's been contemplating, who feel like they can't go, is somebody out there that you owe a commitment to stay on and do what you have to do. Keep fighting. I am a living witness. I am sitting here right now telling you it is rough. My soul hurts every single day that I wake up. But I know if I take each hour at a time, I can get better. I can do better. But we only allow things in our life that we allow things. So I have to make some changes. There has to be some changes with me overcommitting myself to my work, putting work before me. I cannot be last in my life anymore. I refuse. So our focus is we have to be able to do self-care and take care of ourselves. It is okay, especially as Black women, Black people in general. We have a stereotype. When people say, girl, you need to pray. I'm going to pray for you. Prayer is great, but prayer without work, you have to put in the work. You have to put things into place and honor your commitment to that. Pick one person in your life that you know that you are committed to stay and hold on to that so that you can keep going. I have love for everybody. I'm praying for everybody. I'm praying for, we have, as you guys are watching the news, we have a celebrity that just lost her son, her only child. You got to check on the strong people. Check on all people. Check on something like Dallas said. Reach out today. I challenge you to reach out to somebody that you haven't talked to. Send them a text. Send them voice message. FaceTime them. Because what happens is we get busy. Oh, I text them tomorrow. Tomorrow might not be tomorrow. They might not be here. We got this virus going on. People are catching it. Tomorrow is not promised to us. Seize the day. It ain't nothing but a quick test. And Dallas will tell you, I'm big on communication. People say, oh, girl, I got busy. I didn't text you. You make a conscious decision when somebody texts you if you're going to respond to them at that very moment. We got all these gizmos and gadgets on this phone. You can't tell me you ain't get the message. We make a conscious decision. Do we want to text them back right now? I'm going to text them. I'm going to text them later. And guess what? Later becomes a whole week. Stop for a moment and think about how that person's feel. You might change their trajectory of their life. That responding to them might make a difference for them to want to keep on pushing. You got to root for somebody. Even if you're not talking to them every day, root for them. Prayer is good, but prayer without action, it's not even. You have to help. You have to help people from afar and people from within your circle. You owe it to people. You have a service. So much is given, much is required. If somebody along in your life has helped you, you are required as a human being on this earth to be kind to someone, to change your actions, to be about your word, to show up and give your word and honor it. So I love you, whoever is out there that needed that. I hope that this message lets you know that you're not in this boat alone. We're in this, matter of fact, we're on a yacht right now because there's a lot of people that are feeling this way. We're on this big, and I just said yacht because that's the biggest boat version of a boat that I know. But we can make it through it, but we have to recognize, stop, listen, and respond. And please, 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 reach out to someone. If you feel like that's it, there's therapy. I have went to the emergency rooms, have behavioral health that you can reach out to. Check, Google. They will accept you. They're not looking at you like, oh, why is this person coming in? If you feel like I need to really go and have a conversation with somebody and it's 3 o'clock in the morning, it's help out there for you. Get into some type of state of mind to where you want to be able to push yourself forward. It is hard. It is very, very hard. I fight every day. But I have to believe that it's going to get better. I'm closer than I was yesterday. And being able to sit up here and just, unpack makes me feel good. To know that my son loves me unconditionally. You got to have somebody in your life that loves you unconditionally. Loves you behind your faults and all this other stuff. Nobody needs to be reminded about, well, you did this, all this other stuff. Listen, like he said, just sit. Sometimes people don't want you to be like, I understand. You can't possibly understand things. Just sit. Sometimes it's good to be quiet and just, what? Hey, whatever you need, if you just want to unpack, pour into that person. Pour into somebody today. I challenge you to check on the strong people. And as I always say, I start every conversation. I'm not going to make this long, but it went long. So I apologize for that. But I just felt like somebody, my soul says and my spirit says that somebody needed to hear that. So I love everyone that's listening. I appreciate you guys. Thank you for listening. Pass this message on to somebody that thinks that you need it. And let's root for each other. Right now, let's make sure that we're all good. And my new motto or mantra, however they're for 2022, is better your best. Better your best. Practice in everything that we do, whether it's professional or personal life. Practice makes improvement. It doesn't make perfection, because we will never be a perfect person or perfect people. Better your best. So I love you, son. I love you.
I love you too.
We're always going to be good. Morphin Power Rangers. Yeah. So we thank everyone. I'm going to let Dallas close it out. Thank you for listening. Love, peace and love to everybody. I just wish you nothing but peace and well-being. I'm going to check on you, and please check on us.
See ya.
OnCounty.